Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. Thank you for joining us tonight as we talk a little bit about Houston soccer sports. Our pro teams, man. But to join me, I have Joey Chavala. Joey, how have you been, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Good to be back on here.
Yeah, man. Glad that you are able to join us. I know you skipped last week. Chris said that he may be joining here a little late. I guess he's trying to put the school kids back into bed. And we're also joined by the one and only Cesar Procel. Cesar, I know you can hear me right now. I'll get you in right now, my friend.
Hey, good evening, guys. Man, I wasn't sure if this was a U.S. soccer show or if it was, they said dress appropriately, so I put on the River Plate jersey.
Oh man, I like it. I think when Chris joins, he's gonna love that for sure, man. Especially,
I did it for him. I know he'll appreciate it.
I think he would definitely appreciate it. But lots of good games, man, happening right now. I think, there's Chris. So Chris is about to, he already saw you, man. He saw your shirt.
He's going to go change. He's going to go.
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back.
What I tell you, he's so predictable. Predictable. Of course. Just like the fans at the Boca Junior game bringing dogs to the stadium, man. I don't know what that's about.
Well, I saw that those videos are hilarious to me. Like they carry those like poor dogs, like the Lion King. Like if it's Simba and poor dogs, man. Yeah. Poor dogs. I think they just grab them from the street and just bring them to the stadiums just for that, man. But not the best, I guess, time when it comes to Houston soccer sports. But man, just soccer in general has been great. Obviously, we had Champions Leagues happen this morning, and then America, man. It's America.
Wait a minute, hold on. Did you say not the best time for Houston soccer?
Well, Houston this week because
okay. Just
this week.
That's kind of hard assessment. It's only 2 weeks. I mean, it's a long season.
Yeah, it's a long season, but it's been a rough week for just the Dash. Obviously, got a point away, which is, I guess, good for how bad things have looked as of late for them. Houston gets a back-to-back losses to Texas rivals, which that's hard to swallow. Even though you see the games, the results are what the results are there, and then even Dynamo too have been struggling. We probably spend most of the time talking about the first team, but I guess it says that obviously you're the voice of the Houston Dynamo. You get to be at all the home games, especially, and a few of the away games when they're very special. But apart from the Dash as well, I mean, you follow the team, you try to cover them. What have you liked? I don't know if you've been able to talk to Fran Alonso or not, on a segment or not. But, what have you liked? Maybe what don't you like so far, what you've seen from the team?
I haven't had a chance to talk to Fran Alonso yet. I talked to him like once, kind of over the phone, just when he first came in. The thing with Houston Dash, I think everybody's kind of surprised as to what happened, with Maria just suddenly departing from the team, especially after, she had signed her commitment to the city, her commitment to the team back in December. And then she goes on to the Mexican national team, and I'm not sure, something happens, right? Something happens during her time with the national team, and she changes her mind. She requests to leave the team. She requests for a transfer. Now, people are saying she wanted a more competitive team, but I mean, who doesn't want a more competitive team? I'm pretty sure every single player on the squad wants a more competitive team. That's just something normal to ask for. But when the team showed you, this is just my opinion, right? When the team shows you that they're committed to you, they give you the biggest contract in women's soccer in the U.S., and then not even 3 months later, you request for your transfer. What's really going on. So I think the team did the right thing by allowing her to leave. You know, you don't want, if someone doesn't want to be on your team, just let them go.
You see this clown in here? You see this clown?
I just got cold.
Th-
Sorry, guys.
What
I think
is-
winter just hit.
what the
Listen-
hell happened here?
See,
Winter
you see
just
the
hit.
difference, right? You see the difference. Like you can look, you can dress up, or you
Winter just
can
hit.
be the jester. You know, that's
You know what I mean?
entirely up to you.
Hey, where's the dog? Where's the dog, man?
Where's your
All
dog,
these,
man? Where's your
all
dog?
the silverware just kind of made me cold.
Hey, where's
Wait,
the
we need a
dog?
dog. Hold on.
Yeah, he's gonna bring a cat. He's gonna go get a cat. That's
Wait a minute, hold on. So that background isn't even real? Oh, dude!
Hold on.
Oh,
I got a rat. I got a mushroom. What do y'all need?
oh man!
We got
That's-
Pokemons over here.
That's you know what, man. That's pretty depressing, dude. I the whole time I was like, okay, you know what? At least he's got a nice little setup. You know, he's got a shelf. He's got a couple of
Yeah.
replica trophies and an Argentina. The background isn't even real, and the jersey's probably fake.
My background.
Oh,
Hey,
man. Pulga
Two-
FSA, bro. What's going on?
two things could be true.
Look here. I haven't even taken the price tag off of this.
yes, sir.
Because he's ready to return that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's how-
This was
That's how
actually,
loyal they are.
no. This was actually a gift from a radio listener.
Oh,
See,
Yeah.
it was probably that guy that called in that one time you were there, man, and attacked you.
No,
Yeah,
it
probably.
was actually I had a Chivas jersey that didn't fit. It was like a size L, and then it had a medium jacket. And I said, you know what? I'm like, I'll trade it for a good jersey from a good team from any country. And he says, hey, I'll get you a replate. And I said, done. So here we go.
See,
You
the standards have lowered so much when it comes to like good teams. You know what I mean? This
yeah,
is what we have.
You would know for sure.
Talking about not good teams, the Houston Dash have been pretty awful.
Great
So,
segue.
We're just gonna
Yeah, so back
finish
on the
this.
system dash,
Yeah.
man. So yeah, it's it's sad that Maria had to leave it, and the way she left, especially with all the turmoil in the past couple of seasons, with something always seemed to happen with the team, and then when it looked like we had something kind of solid with JC Amoros, and then he decides he wants to go elsewhere and goes to Gotham City, and then he goes on to win the championship. I mean that one kind of hurt, So I like I said, I think that Dash did the right thing. I think if Maria really wanted to leave, then let her go. There's no reason to keep someone on the team that doesn't want to be on the team.
Yeah, I think it was crazy, Joey, when it comes to Maria Sanchez, is the fact that the contract that she got, I don't think it was a contract that matched what she was doing, right? I think in 3 years she had like 7 goals or something like that, and a few assists. I mean, it's just for you comparing it to other players in the league, I think it was way over the top.
It was a bit overpriced. I mean, we all love Maria. We know what she does, but she's never had that kind of star power season where she hits double-digit goal and assist contributions. She's been more of a workhorse type of player than a player who's going to take over a game and win you it on your own. That's kind of what we've seen, especially this season so far. She's playing at that left wing back position. So, I mean, it might be good to just get that not so great contract off the books. I mean, we didn't get a ton for her, but it's better than having a player sit on a massive contract that doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it also opens up opportunities for a player like Avery Patterson to come in and grow with the team, who's looked pretty bright so far.
And I mean, just to touch on her a little bit with the national team, Cesar, she hasn't really been all that great with the national team as of late. Obviously, she was a part of the Gold Cup in February, but it wasn't like she made her mark on the team either there, man.
Yeah, I think she was going through a bit of a slump. Honestly, I think more was expected of Maria. But once again, if she wasn't happy with what was going on in Houston, chances are that same energy translated to what she was not able to do with the Mexican national team. I think the Dash, we're trying to build on a foundation with veterans like Maria, Jane Campbell. Obviously, Diana Ordóñez is a big piece for the team. So I think they were trying to build with those set strong pieces, and it just didn't pan out for them. It didn't pan out for them, and for whatever reason, Maria just wasn't happy. And so, like Joe said, it's time to build on Avery and on the other players, and hopefully, you can only go up from here.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it looks like a brand new team under Fran Alonso. Obviously, a lot of new faces. They had some massive trades before the deadline, including the Maria departure, and of course, and then so they'll be playing Sunday at 12 against Casey Current. So that'll be the return of Nichelle Prince. So that should be an interesting one, just to see kind of what that is all about, man. But again, Dash, they're just in a rebuild moment, and you hope that some of the players, like maybe Ordonez, steps up and kind of becomes the face of that franchise. I think it's really what they need, somebody to just take over. But since we did mention a little bit of like San Diego because of Maria Sanchez going over there, there's rumors as well, obviously, of maybe a Chucky Lozano heading over there, or Memo Ochoa. What are your thoughts on that, Cesar? 45-year-old Memo Ochoa in his wheelchair?
I have no problem with. I don't judge players based on their age, because there are players like hell, look at Cavani. He's still doing his thing, with that team in Argentina. I'm not gonna mention.
Isn't that like a third division team? I'm kidding.
Yeah, they act like it, but no, apparently it's on the first division. They just don't make it to Libertadores. But so I can't judge them based on their age, especially if they're gonna contribute to the team. Chucky Lozano, he's what, 29 years old, 27 years old. So if he comes to MLS, I think he'd have a good, a solid 3 or 4 years. If he goes to Mexico and then comes to MLS, it still might work. They're tossing around so many names for San Diego, and now they just let go of Piojo Herrera from Xolos earlier today. So now there are rumors saying that there's a chance he might go to San Diego. Before last week, it was Hugo Sanchez. So at this point, you can just call it Cascajo FC, because they're just getting a bunch of it's a lot of washed up. I don't know what's going to happen with Piojo. He's a good coach, but he's just kind of lost his magic. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I saw the video of some guys yelling at Piojo. I guess maybe probably the last game of the season, I suppose, and him coming back. That's something that he's always done. He's had a great run, obviously, with America, Atlante, a bunch of other teams, but I think he's maybe losing his magic, man, losing maybe the confidence of the players. But it'd be interesting to see him in the MLS. There's no other characters like him in reality, right? So,
where would he fit? Seriously, where would you take Miguel Herrera? Which team in MLS do you think his energy level would fit? Dallas, maybe. Who's walking the plank right now?
Yeah, who's in the hot seat right now?
Probably Nico Esteves.
I was gonna say Nico Esteves and Josh Wolf before they met the Dynamo.
I don't know, man. Josh Wolf is starting to pick up. So
I'd say San Jose.
Yeah,
San Jose for sure. Yeah, San Jose for sure.
That's another one that they link with Mexican internationals.
Nashville's going through a rough patch, but I don't think he'd fit in Nashville. I don't see him going to Nashville. Maybe Atlanta.
Atlanta, possibly. Yeah, I could see.
It has to be like a team with character. There's a lot of teams that don't really like for example, Nashville, Cincinnati, they don't.
Or maybe not. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe something like Charlotte. Maybe a team with no set character yet, so that he can build that. That's the.
Or that.
But it's I don't know if the language is going to be a barrier for him. I don't know if he'd adjust to the. I'm sure he'll adjust to the league. He's a professional.
Yeah.
But just it's kind of sad, a lot of coaches in the Mexican league are just kind of losing their magic. Tuca is now officially just a commentator on ESPN. Yeah. Nacho Ambriz went to Santos, and he still can't seem to find a way. He went through Huesca, Toluca, and now Santos, and he still hasn't found his way. Piojo's losing his magic. Bucetich, one of the best coaches in Mexican league history, and he disappeared completely. And obviously there were rumors always that he was trying to come to Houston, but that didn't pan out. So who knows where Piojo could fit? Maybe San Diego is close enough to Tijuana, right?
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't even have to move. He would just
Yeah.
keep that same house and just take a day trip.
Échala la troca and let's go across the border. Let's go.
Exactly. But no, I think you make a good point. Even with Dallas, I could see like a Dallas, being in that mix just because of he could fit. I could see him being a fit there, just because of the teams that he's dealt with in the past. That they don't spend maybe a ton of money like Atlanta did, or but they have a decent academy that they can bring some players in. Rushan said the Dynamo had been Santa Claus to Chicago, Austin, and Dallas, I suppose. But he's asking too, where's Turco Mohamed? That's another guy that has been pretty well known of a coach.
Well, he had taken he quit Pumas due to mental health issues. At least that's what he said, and he was supposed to take some time off. He said to be with family and kind of recuperate, but he doesn't really have a set team. I really thought he was going to end up in Argentina or Brazil, in the next this last tournament, but it seems like he's really taking a break. So I heard rumors about him going back to Liga MX. But maybe he might come to the U.S. I mean, why not? Turco would be. I don't know if any team in the U.S. can afford him though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's big spenders, and with the rules changing, I think in the middle of the summer we'll get some new rules. Joey,
yes.
What was it again? It's 3 DPs.
So you can have 3 senior DPs and 3 U22 initiative players. Or you could have 2 senior DPs, a young DP, and 4 U22 initiative players.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting. Everybody's trying to do that whole cap aspect of it. I think even EPL is looking at it. So everybody's looking at the MLS, how everything's working to an extent. Whether it happens or not, it'd be definitely interesting for sure. But I guess just finishing up with San Diego, just because of some rumors, I bet Cesar Procel and I guess Chris and Joe Yuckin, who would be like, their money was no option. No, there's no limit on the money that you can spend. Who would you bring to a team like San Diego, like a brand new expansion? Cesar.
Who would I bring?
Who would you bring?
I would probably bring. I mean, it's San Diego. It's close enough to Mexico. It's California. They would have to bring a very well-known either South American or Mexican player. So, yeah, I mean, Chucky Lozano would definitely be one option. Maybe Raúl Jiménez. I don't know. Now, what's the guy from Chelsea just left? Thiago Silva.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he's about to be 40, though, right? He's probably...
Yeah, he's definitely... Yeah, he's like 37,
yeah,
38.
He's up there. So, yeah, I mean, it would have to be like a very well-known and liked player. If he's not Mexican, he has to be very liked by Mexicans. There are a lot of players that, and I'm just saying that based on the geographic location of the team. There's a lot of Mexican people there, so if you want support right off the bat, you probably have to bring some well-known players that are liked by the Mexican audience. And I had this discussion earlier, and a lot of people laugh and they think I'm anti-Messi, and I'm not. But I think Mexicans in general they don't really care about Messi that much. So, I don't know that someone like Messi wouldn't probably work in San Diego. It would have to be, like I said, it would have to be someone more liked by the Mexican people. I don't know.
Non-Argentinians, basically.
No. I think there are some Argentinians that would fit really well. I mean, what about that kid from Miami, the one that was in the World Cup with Argentina?
Almada?
Yeah, Almada, yeah. Almada would probably be a good fit for San Diego.
Well, I was even on the other direction. Probably, San Diego San Diego Loyal. It was the team that was there before that was owned by Landon Donovan. I could see a well-known American at that point maybe makes a jump over here. And there's quite a few of them over there that, you bring any of them, to be honest, and they'll probably be a hit as well.
You probably have to pay a load for a lot of those Americans.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Pulisic is having one of the best seasons of his career at Milan. You're paying 40, 50 million to get him over here.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
not realistic.
and
Look at Kenny too.
he's what 23, 25. I mean, those
They're like
That's the thing.
25,
I don't know if the league is gonna want to do something like that again with any other player. I mean, I know it worked with Messi, but
yeah,
which other player could you actually pay that much money for that you're guaranteed you're gonna fill the seats every single weekend?
probably
And
Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's
Griezmann?
not coming,
Ronaldo's, yeah, I don't.
and he doesn't have the same form anymore.
Yeah, I mean, LAFC is about to bring in Giroud, who's one of the most accomplished players of all time in the recent decades, and yeah, he's not even going to bring that type of buzz. So
That's
tough.
true. But even like when they brought in like Hugo Lloris, I mean, they barely spent any money on this guy too. You know, like I mean, this guy's basically playing for free to an extent, almost. It feels like, and he obviously World Cup winner, has so much stuff under his belt. I mean, he didn't really win anything with Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham fans, they just don't win anything. So,
Do you think Neymar would work? I mean, he's pretty much in
I
Europe.
think Neymar would be an absolute hit. I don't know if he could stay healthy though. He might get killed with the travel.
It's MLS. I think he could manage at least 15 games, right?
Yeah.
You would like it, but yeah, I could see Neymar coming over here. I mean, obviously, if you get too ahead, I mean, all the guys that made all those jump to Saudi Arabia didn't really work out for a bunch of them. So, I mean, if you can somehow land like a Benzema or Firmino or guys that still have something left in the tank,
I'd like to see Coutinho.
Yeah, I could see
Coutinho would be great.
Bring Emiliano. What is his name? The guy from Aston Villa, the goalkeeper. Martinez. Bring Emily Martinez, man. Just let him do his thing. Let him get all kinds of red cards and fines.
Run the show, bro.
That's what you got to do, man. And I mean, obviously, just going into the Dynamo tried to do that with Ache. Try to bring some of that with Hector Herrera. It took a bit. The first season wasn't all that great, just because he brought the hype. I would say that much. I mean, we were there for his first game against FC Dallas, and even the game before he actually played a game. It was packed against Charlotte, and I think they lost.
Presentation,
all the hype around him, and then he delivered last season. We can't say he didn't. He was probably one of the best players. And not to be biased, but definitely should have been top 3 for the MVP, and he wasn't. He was top 5, I guess, at that point. But
he also came into a team that at that point wasn't like even a competitive team. I mean, we were halfway through the season and still didn't even have a solid 11.
Mm-hmm.
No identity to that team.
Yeah, so and
sometimes I miss Paulo Nagamura. Sometimes I miss him because of that, man. He was a very mysterious guy.
He might be the only one.
So what I heard from one of the players was that Paulo's biggest complaint was that he didn't have the type of team he needed for the type of system he wanted. And so that's why he kept trying, right? That's why he kept trying, changing up the lineup every single week. And it just wasn't working. And, he got pretty frustrated towards the summer. And once even Ache showed up, it just didn't work. He still didn't have a solid, or at least a starting 11. And, when some of the players approached him and said, well, look, you don't have the players that you need for the system that you want. So how about just try something else, play, let everybody play to their strengths. But at that point, it was kind of like too late. The season was shot, and he only lasted a couple of weeks after that, and he was let go.
That's what I liked about Kenny Bundy when he came in for the interim position. He just said 4-2-3-1, everyone in your best position, go play ball.
Yeah,
they looked a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, and even when Ben Olsen arrived, in a way, we kind of got that, right? I mean, he knew what kind of setup he wanted, but he saw the players that he had in front of him. And even though there was a giant, turnover of 17, 18 players that came in his first season, he still was able to kind of mold it with what he had in the system. That's what we saw, some makeshift positions. And even now we see that. I mean, come on, dude, you put a veteran center back in Daniel Stairs as a left back and it turns to work out. Most of the time that he's there. Or obviously we see Franco Escobar on the left back as well, bringing in Dorsey, who's naturally attacking player. That's a right back. I mean, he does a little tweaks that say whatever you want to say, but I mean, 99% of the time he gets it right, and it's just a matter of at this point. And Joey, I know you have the tweet probably in front of you, but how can we fix and just if you want to say it, but how can we fix that scoring, man?
That's the XG tweet.
Yeah, what is the XG? You have that in front of you?
Yeah, well, let me pull up Dustin tweeted this gem earlier. So Dynamo are now last in XG per 90 with 0.88, which is pretty bad. They're tied for assisted XG with 0.61. So you don't understand the numbers. That's awful. But and you look at the replies to the tweet, and a lot of people are talking about the striker position, and I don't think it's a striker issue. I think it's a Hector Herrera and Amin Bassi haven't even combined for 500 minutes this season problem.
I mean, Bassi hasn't even scored a goal this season, I think.
They haven't got a penalty yet.
Yeah, good point, man.
I think Bassi's been pretty productive, and he hasn't played a ton. He started off the season not with the team. He was injured. He came back, and then he got a little injury again. But I mean, he's been very creative this season so far, and I think it's gotten a little better. I think the moments that Bassi's been on the field with Sebas have looked pretty good. When you have a guy like Kowalczyk playing striker, obviously the XG is not going to be very high because he's not a striker. He doesn't get in the box very well. So there's no link up with the players. So I think it's a little bit of that needing a striker, maybe. But I think it's more lack of midfield control, lack of creators in the team, because really the only creative player who's played loads and loads of minutes this season is Kukakowski. Yeah. And, he's forced out wide sometimes, and now he's playing more in a deeper role where I actually think he's looked worse, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I think he's looked weaker back in midfield than he has out wide.
Carrasquilla, yeah, he tends to struggle sometimes.
Yeah, I think he should revert back to that change where he put Blessing out in that wide position, put Coco back in the midfield. I would revert that if I were him. Yeah, it's hard to get XG expected assists when you don't have creators on the field. It's really rough.
I know that Cesar and Chris was talked about this before the season started. The last time we recorded together, and we mentioned who's going to score the goals. I think Cesar, you put your money on Sebastián Ferreira. I think we all kind of did. Ali, we had some questions just because he didn't really finish some of those opportunities that a striker should finish. And obviously, he's been scoring goals. He's been playing well. He's had a good season. Ferreira, though, man, he's just been getting injured. Looks obviously a little maybe out of shape at times because of it. Do we still believe in Ferreira to continue getting minutes and getting some goals? I mean, it's early in the season. It's not even a third of the season has passed yet, man. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Christian, go for it.
Go for it. No, leave it.
I guess you're right. It's gonna be first place and then second. Yeah. All right, so I think right now Ferreira's our best bet. I don't Gabriel Seagal had a good start, scoring a goal on his first outing with the team, but he just kind of died down after that. That was kind of Sebastián Ferreira's replacement. I don't think we have a genuine, naturally talented striker except for Sebas Ferreira on the team. I mean, that was last game we played with no strikers, basically.
It's been Kowalczyk.
Yeah, Kowalczyk, but he's still not as solid as what Sebas could probably do with less space. You know what I mean? So I think, you still have to put your money on Sebas if he comes back healthy and actually has a full game. I think if we get to at some point see Hector Herrera and Sebas Ferreira on the team from the beginning, we'll see a difference. Until then, it's going to be really hard to score more goals. I mean, I think Kowalczyk and Ibrahim and Bassi are doing their best, but it's just not enough right now. We need a solid striker.
I agree. I'm not too fun. I mean, you guys know I'm not too fond of Aliou. I think he does what he does best, right, on that side. But he's not my favorite. And then playing with the whole Basi and the Polish Seva. It's to me the whole like false nine, not playing with an actual striker. It's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
So yeah, just basically having a number 9 changes everything to me. But then again, I don't even know if Seva Ferreira it's like the answer to all the problems that we need. But I think he obviously creates more options for himself than anybody else could. He's a true striker, true number 9, a man that is always going to be looking for a goal, looking to take a shot, looking for this, looking for that. So he's going to be looking to be dangerous inside the box, outside the box. Looking to kind of get a shot off. When you have Kowalczyk and Basi and maybe Aliyu, they're mostly the assisters, if that's a word. I don't know. They're looking to assist more most of the time, and they're not. I don't. I always talk about like let's take shots out. From outside the box. Let's take shots from outside the box. They don't come. They don't come. So yeah, Sebas Ferreira might be the answer now.
Sister.
Yeah,
but then what is he though?
Kowalczyk is kind of confusing me because I think we brought him in to be a little bit of a creator, but he's really just he's kind of he's just a workhorse. That's really what he is at this point. He's just kind of one of those engine room players. He's kind of like what's his name, Latif Blessing. They're kind of play a similar role. I feel like they're not the most talented.
They just don't have a lot of players to break lines. Obviously, everybody already kind of in the beginning of the season we saw Carrasquilla hit a couple great through balls, long balls to Aliyu out wide, and I feel that if you watch the recent games, the one against Austin, the ones against Dallas, especially the one against Dallas, going down a man, they will kind of get into that one. They kept looking for that through ball, and there was really nobody that could do it. It kept falling short, and so I think if you're going to use a false 9, whether it be Basi or whether it be the Kowalczyk, I think you need somebody on both wings that can create a little bit of havoc, not just one, because you're isolating Aliyu, and everybody's going to read that. They're going to be able to, play a man on him and zone the space where he's going to run into, and you take that away from them. And right now, there's nobody else. You wish it would have been, I guess at this point, you wish it would have been Aliyu on one side and Nelson Quiñones on the other. They really didn't bring anybody other than Gaines, who, Mackenzie Gaines could potentially be that, could potentially be a guy that plays out wide and maybe has the speed to kind of be able to push that line. But we don't know yet, and we will find out. But going into the Dallas game.
Sorry. Just to add to that.
Yeah,
so,
I like it.
But see, I agree with what you're saying, and the issue is we have a lot of players on the team that can push the lines and center those passes. The problem is there's no one in the front that knows how to take advantage of those passes. So it's like you can have, you have Franco Escobar, Daniel Steres, Carrasquilla, even Arthur sometimes can do really good assists. Basi, obviously, Kowalczyk on the other side, but there's not one person in the middle that can take advantage and pick them up as they go, whether it's a header or down at the bottom. They just don't have that, and that's where we're lacking 100%. Because even if Ache was back, he there's no other player on the team that can put a ball in front of the striker better than Ache. But if the striker's not there, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I'm interested in what you're saying already with the wingers. Do you want a system change? Because you said you would like Nelson and Aliyu on the wings.
No, well, what I was alluding to that is kind of what you guys are saying too. Like there is players that can filter the ball up high and stuff. But right now, the only weapon that is being utilized is Aliyu on that left wing. Because of that, there's nobody really in the center, like Cesar, you mentioned. There's nobody out there that it's can actually win a ball if there's a cross, and then there's nobody on the right wing. Coco Carrasquilla is not one to just purely stay on the line. And I wanted to hit on that. Obviously, he gets red carded against FC Dallas really early, really stupidly. I mean,
He should have just. I mean, I understand why they did it, but at that point, just let him go. I mean,
can we give some credit to Liam Frazier though? What a pass that was!
Great ball.
That was
and obviously
fantastic.
If we're gonna blame anybody, let's blame the Argentinians at this point. I mean, what the hell was Franco Escobar doing out there? Was he?
Well, I mean, what was he supposed to do though?
He's
supposed to step up and force the offside.
He was like 10
he was running
yards
around in circles
away from everybody else. Yeah, I don't know if he was like chasing a butterfly. I don't know. I don't know. But he was just not in a good position. Obviously, you're right. Perfect ball that hits the player on the stride, and there's not a lot you can do.
He hit that one time too, I think.
See, but the problem with that is it happened 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Exact same situation, 2 weeks in a row, and that's that's just a lack of concentration. I don't know what was going back then with Ethan Barlow and you're right, Escobar, but it was 2 weeks in a row that they got beat like that.
Because Artur and Mikhail both pushed up in the counter press to try to win the ball back. Yeah, that's what happened there. And then Escobar didn't hold the line and push up, and then of course Liam Frazier, great vision, sees the ball over the top.
And obviously that has to do a lot with the shifting that we see in the back line, right? We always see them start with you want to call it a flat four, and eventually throughout the game it turns into 3 center backs because we know Dorsey tends to push up, and Dorsey's been pushing up, but he can't get a freaking cross in. What is up with that too? I mean, we saw it against Austin. How many times did he hit that way over whatever it's called now, Corona area?
He's got the Antuna syndrome, bro.
He can't. And so one question that I saw earlier was the fact that, he did this last year. If we look back at last year, Dorsey was doing exactly the same thing. And it wasn't until Leagues Cup that he finally kind of got in a rhythm and was, hitting it. Hell, he was scoring with his left foot. The boy thought was Lionel Messi, at one point, and just scoring a bunch of goals. He's back to the same thing. And somebody said, "Do you think the deflated season is because he got paid?" I mean,
no,
I don't think that's the case. It's not like he became an instant millionaire, but I mean, the dude get a new contract, new recognition. Again, I don't know.
It's because there's no one occupying the center backs. That's what a lot of the issue is. They're able to bring out 2 men on him when he goes out wide. They're able to push out the left back and then push out the left center back and really cover the crosses. They're able to get a man on him so he's not able to get those free open crosses or those free 1v1 situations with the fullback because there's no one in the box. No one's making movement in the box, occupying center backs, creating those pockets of space for Dorsey to put the crosses into, so he becomes useless.
Christian?
I thought Christian was going to say something. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, I don't question Dorsey's what's it called? Like his work rate, because when people talk about him like off the pitch, he's the first one there, last one to leave type thing. So I don't think it's his character, and you see it. I mean, he's always hustling, he's always running around. Obviously, it does. I mean, having a new contract does give you a sense of comfort. Knowing that you at least have another 2 years in front of you. I mean, like I said, I don't think that's the main issue, but I mean, Joey's pointing it out. I think the way that they're playing, I mean, he doesn't have anybody in front of him, so he basically has to attack. He basically has to defend. You can only do so much when you're basically on that side by yourself. Who's helping you out? Who's covering your back when you go? Who's running behind you? You know what I mean? We're talking about, Escobar on that last play. Escobar was playing right behind Dorsey at one point, and I was like, what that, like, is the first 5 minutes, why is Escobar behind, Dorsey at this point in time? Like, isn't he supposed to be on the other side of the field?
I think this red card is kind of like a blessing in disguise, because now you won't see Dorsey obviously playing this weekend, right? Olsen's going to have to make a move. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Dorsey has played every single game, every single minute at the right back position, which again, I'm not saying that he's not, he is trash going up to the, towards the attacking part of the field. I just feel his crosses aren't crisp, and he just lacks accuracy. Everything else, defensively, he does pretty well.
Yes. I agree. But like we said, who is he going to cross to? You know what I mean?
Sure.
there's nobody there. I mean, if you're Dorsey, you can only do so much.
I mean, but if you're hitting it like way above the goal, I mean, you're not gonna.
No, of course, right?
Literally, his best options when the way the team's been lined up lately is to cross and hope that Escobar's there to do the header. Escobar's probably the best option at that point, because Aliyu, I still haven't seen what he's supposed to be able to do yet. It just hasn't showed up. So yeah, who are his options when you cross the ball? Who's gonna do it?
So now obviously we know there's a couple injuries. Sebastian Ferreira apparently has it's not necessarily healthy when asked. He doesn't really, when asked Ben Olsen, he doesn't really give you any information regarding on Sebastian.
He hates those questions.
He loves those questions. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
That part I don't understand about MLS. Like I don't understand what the big deal is about telling you this is exactly what's wrong with the player. Just say it, and I'm not comparing in any way, but like in Mexican teams, they actually have the team doctor go out and tell you exactly, with medical terms, what's wrong with the player. And then you got to Google and figure out what the hell he said. But at least they give you that. Here in MLS, they just don't. They just say, yeah, he's not available.
Well, I was going to say, they even usually give you the starting lineup like 2-3 days before the game even begins. Yeah. They're not scared to tell you who they're going to put out there too.
Or you could see like you can go to their trainings and you could see like how they were training, and you can kind of draw a conclusion, say, okay, this is how they're going to play against the next team. So
yeah, the secrecy in the MLS is kind of weird. I agree.
Yeah,
it's like what do you think you are? But I guess I guess like protocols and all this and whatever, but it is kind of weird that if you're like in the media, right, you can only go to the first 15 minutes of training. It's like, okay, okay, I saw him warm up. Like, okay, there's nothing of substance. Like how you like, and that's one of the things. I mean, Cesar, you probably know a little bit more because you're obviously in the journalism part of it. But like, when I watch, like, not to compare, but when you watch Argentinian media, like, they have so much information about a team that they could just talk about one team and like, the way that they're going to, line up and everything like that, that you have an idea of what the game, like there's more to talk about.
Because
when we do our shows, it's only about the game.
No, you're right. 100%. And that's so what happens is in Argentina, in probably Brazil too, and in Mexico, the people covering the team are able to stay for the full training session. They're able to see all the warm-ups, all the scrimmage, which is the important part, and that's how you can tell. Okay, this is going to be his starting 11 this Saturday, most likely, and so they can draw conclusions because they got to see the full scrimmage, and they could tell who's doing well, who's not doing well. They can get a lot more information just by watching, not necessarily asking the coach, but they're allowed to watch the full scrimmage. Aside from the times when they absolutely say no one's watching, it's a training session, closed doors, no one's watching it. But other than that, they have full access to the training. In MLS, they give you, at least at the Dynamo, they give 15 minutes, pretty much the warm-ups. That's all you get to see. So what you get is you get to see, who shows up first, who's warming up, who's training separately from the team, who's actually training with a group. And then that's probably the end of it.
I like something Rusha mentions. It's how he just mentioned like River Boca, and it's true. How if the game is on, like their derby, their clásico, they spend like 11, 14, 5, like the entire day just hyping up this like those big games in general, and usually maybe
and they end up 0-0,
and they end up 0-0.
but that's part of the experience. Let me just to kind of bring that back to the derby and to the game. My brother, he lives in Dallas, and he asked me, he's like, "Oh, you coming up?" And I was like, "Well, I can't because of work and this and that." I didn't even get to watch the full game.
Excuses.
To be honest,
quit your job, man.
Yeah, right.
You had the calendar for like 3 months, bro.
Yeah.
I know, right? That's on me, I guess.
I'm gonna have blasting diarrhea on the 27th. Just put it on the calendar, man.
I know, I should have. But no, yeah, and he was like, oh, like, how many people are going, like, because then you look at the pictures of the people that went up, and then you have other people, asking online. It's like, wait, isn't it like just like a 4-hour drive? What didn't more people go and stuff like that? And not to talk down on the marketing or the whole team as a whole, but it's like when it's stuff like that, I think the club itself should like make it such a big deal. Like, you know, you're playing your number one rival, your in-state rival. Like, it should be a bigger deal than what it is. I mean, I don't know, but I think there's so much to be done when it comes to those games. Like, I don't know if it's just me ranting a little bit, but I think the Dynamo itself, the organization itself, should do a lot more when it comes to those smaller. I mean, there's only 3 away games a year where people could actually mobilize and go to those games. Why not, you know, hone on, like, you know, get those 2 games and just like hype everybody up, make it a whole week, talk shit on Twitter, you know, like do fun things to kind of hype up the game, because not only you hype up the game as a game, but like, you know, your players, the morale of the players, and just going into the game, I think the players themselves kind of see that difference of like, oh shit, you know, we have to win this game. You lose that passion of the whole derby type thing. I feel like I didn't watch the game, but for like, you know, watching social media and stuff like that, it just seemed like a regular ass game. When Dallas-Houston game should be more than a regular game to me personally.
I like that point of view because for instance, the Austin rivalry, right, or quote unquote rivalry. Some people see it, some people don't. But and I'm assuming you were there, Cesar, at that game. But very beginning, I think it was Bossy that just came across the player, and you're like, oh snap, like what? Like it just kind of hyped up and it was that was in the very first one. But there's a couple that because you're right. I mean, these are supposed to be rivalries that you're trying to imitate from bigger, you know, and more historic rivalries, whether it be Boca River, whether it be Barcelona, Real Madrid, whoever you want to see, you know, whether it be Arsenal, Tottenham, those big derbies. And sometimes it feels like there's not a lot of passion behind those like they used to be, especially in the beginning years with Dynamo against FC Dallas. I mean, you guys remember all those fights and punches and kicks to, you know, in between the players. It keeps it fun, man. I mean, Chivas America, you know.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, and man, I know my listeners are gonna hate me for this, but it is what it is. So the difference between a derby in the MLS and anywhere else is the players actually feel something for the city or the team they represent. I'm not saying that the squad doesn't support their own jersey or anything. What I'm saying is there's no cultural connection to the team. So the rivalry for the fans, it's huge, right? It's Dallas, it's Austin, it's a Texas thing, you know, and the fans get it. A lot of the people that probably work in the team, they understand it. They're from Houston as well. But the players, okay, yeah, so we're gonna be playing against Dallas, but you know, Eric Sviatchenko, like, you know, how there what's his connection?
And in the opposite end, I mean, obviously Dallas or Austin, they probably have more homegrowns clearly than even who's the homegrown of the Dynamo
right now?
Tell me. I was gonna say Brooklyn Reigns, and he's from Arizona.
Yeah. Brooklyn Reigns is not from Houston,
and that's my point. and that's Cesar's point, and I totally agree. I just feel
just because he came in here when he was 14 does not make him a homegrown or 15. Yeah. He's only been here the same amount.
He's probably the longest person tenured in Houston of anyone on that team.
And you can tell, like, you know, with all due respect, but you can tell Dorsey's not from here. Like,
but even putting it to like the early years, those guys weren't from Houston. You know what?
But also,
Golden maybe.
There's a connection there.
But also, as you grow, you make that connection, right? Mm-hmm. So which players on the team right now have been here long enough to feel like a connection to the city?
That's true.
Steve Clark, man.
Only Dorsey.
Steve Clark is probably the closest one. I mean, Daniel Steres is what, 2 seasons in?
Dorsey's 4 seasons, and Clark and Steres are 3. Everyone else is on their first or second year.
Yeah, so it's
Hector's technically one.
So it's hard for them to to actually. So that's why it's kind of a tough one, because they understand it's the in-state rivalry, but they don't really feel it. They're just not gonna feel it.
Houston lost to Austin at home and to Dallas the game afterwards. Like, I said I wasn't going to do this, but what the fuck? Like, we should be mad. You know what I mean? Like, everybody should be pissed off. And I know, like, people are gonna say, "Oh, it's the beginning of the season. There's so much to be played. Like, the real MLS season starts at the like after the summer." Bullshit.
No,
You
they're all
have
true.
yeah,
You know what? No,
not really.
you said that,
Soccer,
though.
you have to win every single fucking game, because at the end of the year, you're gonna miss playoff by 1 or 2 points, and then you're
I
gonna
agree
look
with
back
that.
and be
I
like,
agree with that.
"Oh, we shouldn't have lost at home to a shitty Austin team 1-0." Like,
Are
this
they a
is when
shitty
you win the
Austin team,
points.
though?
I don't know. That's what people were
their
saying.
last 5. They just
Yeah,
Well,
right
but-
there.
dismantled the Galaxy.
But I mean, they didn't come in a great form. Okay, well then you went to Dallas and you lost to a shitty Dallas team that haven't won.
Yeah, that
Like,
one's
that one's more
You know what I
embarrassing than the Austin one.
Okay, well then I'll go with that one. I didn't see the Austin either. That's how much of a fan I am too. But I was at work. But that's the thing though. Like, we should be like mad at the fact that we're losing to our rivals. Maybe, or I don't know, or losing to shitty teams in a way that you're losing to Dallas. Like, you can't go out there and, like, you know, I don't know, could try to compete and try to, like, be up there, you know, fighting with the top boys and just because you had a good season last year doesn't mean that now you get to chill. And yeah, we don't have the players, we don't have this, we don't have that, but like, where's the grit to go out there and fight it out against Dallas? Like,
yeah, I think
and I understand there's no connection, but like,
I hate to say, but right now Dallas, son papás de Houston. Like, there's tell me
Yeah.
one team. Tell me one Houston teams that beat a Dallas team recently.
No, that's true.
yeah, that's true.
That's
The
true.
Astros
That's true.
got spanked, and
And not just that. You know, to your point, I'm gonna go ahead and just blame somebody else. You know, for the lack of passion for this derby. I'm gonna blame Nico Esteves because a week before the game, remember what he said? Well, you know, it's MLS. You know, nothing really counts right now. It's towards the end of the season where everything actually matters, and this is when you qualify. I mean, dude, if you want to just kill the marketing, you know, any marketing budget your team had, there you go. You just did it. Like,
Yeah.
So as a fan, you're like, well, if the coach isn't even trying, and you know, if Jesus Ferreira is pretending to be injured just so he doesn't have to play, like, why am I gonna pay him my ticket to go support him? You know, we're gonna just see some lousy game. There's not gonna be any fun. So I think stuff like that kills what the derby's supposed to bring.
Yeah. Yeah. And to mention, or to I guess add on what you mentioned about Dallas being the dad of Houston right now. I mean, it's 13 years since the Dynamo have won in Dallas. That's ridiculous, man. 13 years. That's a dad, a stepdad. I don't know, whatever it is, man. That's crazy.
To be fair, for the past 13 years, Houston's barely won in any other city besides Houston.
For sure. But there goes that. It's a part of the rivalry, right? And we know this in the sense of, like, I mean, Joe, you follow Arsenal. You know, you have a team outside of the MLS. Those rivalry games, it doesn't matter what your form is. It doesn't matter what your quality of your game is. You go and try to win. That's what you try to do. And I'm not saying that the Dynamo didn't try. I mean, getting a red card 5 minutes in just killed your plan.
That did kill that. Honestly, the ref did kill part of the game, like that red card, and then I think just in general, that just started off bad for Houston.
And I think you can't not give that red card, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, for sure, it was a red card. I think they asked Ben Olsen, and I didn't even go back to look like the replay, but he said there was a foul before that red card. He mentioned how he was more aggravated that there was a foul that wasn't called, and I'm assuming it was on the Dynamo, and before the red card happened. So he knew that was a red card. That was going to get it called a red card, but he felt that there was a foul that should have stopped the game before that happened. And in Ben Olsen fashion, I think he knew that his team was better even with 10 men, and he tried to play the same to an extent. Obviously, he did back off some, try to again win on some counterattacks, but it's going to be very predictable when your only escape route is going to be Ibrahim Ali on one side. And obviously you mentioned how Dorsey obviously brings you that too, but he's gone. So they tried to bring Brad Smith. Like, he definitely tried a few little things, but eventually the team just couldn't maintain and keep out that pressure that Dallas was producing. And again, I'm with Chris, and I think someone, Dago, said I'm with Chris too, man. I'm pissed off about this situation. And I mean, there's just so much you could do whenever you're playing with 10 men. I mean, and it's difficult to get any kind of result. And but I was telling Dustin this. I was like, man, what I would have done is I would have gone old fashioned Jose Mourinho, when he was with Inter Milan against Barcelona, and just parked like 10 guys basically behind and just kind of try to survive. That's what I would have done. But that's not what Ben Olsen was going to do. He knew that the team was better.
But also, I mean, when Dynamos try to do that, they don't survive.
For sure.
It's just a matter of time before they get scored on anyway. So no, I think his best bet was try to keep possession of the ball. That's the team's been winning when they keep full possession of the ball. This last game, I think it was a point where Dallas had like a 75% possession over the last 15 minutes or so, and you can't win a game like that. You gotta have the ball unless you have a really good striker that's gonna take advantage of the one small opportunity you give them, and that's not gonna happen, especially with 10 men.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So now they come to Houston or back to Houston. They'll be playing against St. Louis City Saturday night. Cesar, are you calling the game?
Calling the game Saturday night, and it's Star Wars night, isn't it? So
it is Star Wars night.
May
the 4th be with you. Yep.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I don't know if you guys are,
but I've watched the movies. And
we need the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. Like bring the whole calendar at this point.
Bring the whole force, man. So yeah, we know, like mentioned earlier, Dorsey's out. So what are you guys thinking? Let's just. I mean, not necessarily the entire scheme of what Ben Olsen's going to play, but just the lineup and the defensive scheme. You think we see Franco Escobar take that right back position and maybe Brad Smith as the left back, or Steres?
He goes Steres. I think he probably goes Escobar at the right back and then just puts Steres left back. That's probably the simple, easy thing to do. I think you have some interesting options too, because we've seen Latif Blessing play right back in LA, and he could kind of play
Silva should be back, right?
Who was that?
Mikael Silva should be back, right?
He should be back. Yeah,
he should be.
Oh, that's where I was going with that. We talked about injuries, and I'll just say real fast because I had it open here. The injuries that Foot Mob, which I love Foot Mob, it says obviously Griffin Dorsey suspended, Nelson Quiñones is out with a knee injury, and Carlos Sebastian Ferreira abdominal injury. Late May is his return. So that, going to what you were mentioning, sometimes they just say like lower body injury. Like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, dude.
So we could definitely see Latif Blessing play out right back. And then I think the other interesting option, me and Dustin were talking about it, I think Mackenzie Gaines could be an interesting choice to put at the right back, because he's kind of a Dorsey-like player. High work rate, gets wide, puts in service. I think he could.
Is he good, Joey?
Yeah.
How are his crosses? I was trying to look for some highlights from McKenzie, but everything I found was from like years ago. So I'm trying to see.
1942.
So he's been with like what 3 different. He started with Austin, Charlotte, teams. Nashville, and now the Dynamo.
I'm curious to see what he can do as far as crossing the ball, and obviously, like I said, that would help as long as he has somebody to cross it to, right?
Can he cross and run into the box and head it himself? Is that a possibility?
Well, you know what though, but Brad Smith is actually another. Him and Escobar are actually 2 good options for for receiving the crosses.
Yeah.
So if
second post,
if everybody else just kind of gets in the way of the other team and lets let the guy cross the balls and get Brad Smith to get up front, maybe that'll work.
Imagine.
Yeah,
your crosses have to be over.
The gains, it was a good pickup. Obviously, it's the same thing with Jefferson Valverde. I think you need some kind of shield. You don't want to wait till Arthur breaks down. I mean, he's been one of your best
So
players.
I think that Jefferson Valverde, I think that's more thinking ahead of U.S. Open Cup,
sure,
and Leagues Cup, all combined to give some of the guys a little bit of a rest. So I think that's the main reason we're seeing those type of lineups now, or those type of players coming to the city, just so that they have some options, some depth. But
they mentioned that he could be your Ivan Franco from last year. I don't know. I mean, terrible. Franco came in and scored a couple of goals, late, but other than that, he really provided a lot.
He was such a weird
he
player.
Scored at the final, right? The U.S. Open Cup final, didn't he?
No,
it was Dorsey and Bossy, I think.
Yeah.
Bossy scored a penalty, I think.
Yep.
Because Dorsey had that laser.
Ivan Franco would score when you're like losing 3-0, and you're like, "Oh well, we got something."
Ivan Franco, he had that late equalizer against Austin.
Yeah, he got an equalizer in a winner, I think.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's Dallas, wasn't it? I think it was at home against Dallas. He scored a winner, like that.
So he didn't do much, but when he did, I feel like he did score. So
he was playing Libertadores the other day, so there's that.
Oh, but Boca wasn't there, right?
No, he's playing with Libertad.
What's it called? Yeah, right. So let's just finish off talking about the Dynamo, unless you guys think of something else regarding the prediction, I guess, for Saturday. And I got one more topic.
Must win.
Must win. But you think they'll win? It's a must win, but do you think they'll win though? That's the question.
I don't know, but since we're playing Cincinnati, right?
St.
Louis. They have Klaus, right?
Yes.
So that's the type of number 9 we need. A big body, able to just get the ball, running himself, win in the air, win on the floor. If we can get a Klaus type guy,
totally agree with you.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Klaus is the most perfect system fit the Dynamo could get.
Trade him.
Let's. You're down for a kidnapping?
Trade him in the summer.
Yeah.
You know who I think another player that I like. It's what's a Brazilian guy from Portland Timbers. He just got here. Evers.
Evander.
Evander. Yeah, I think Evander would be a good fit. But that's the kind of place we need. But
somebody like that.
So they have Anthony too. They have the Brazilian duo.
So I think the game on Saturday is winnable. I think Dynamo could take it, but they just can't lose concentration in the backline, man. If they lose their spot in the backline and they get beat again, then that's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. Especially Ben got criticized when he came here because everybody thought he was going to be playing Benny ball, and he shut everybody up. But if they keep messing up in the backline, we're going to have to get some Benny ball going. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, St. Louis, too, they've been leaking goals. So if there's an opportunity to get some goals in, it's this game. And they just conceded 3 against Kansas City. They've conceded 3 against Salt Lake the other week as well, 3 from the Galaxy. So teams are scoring on them. They play a very open system. They're very high pressing. So if the Dynamo could find some passes in behind and free a guy like Aliou or whoever plays at the right back, I mean, they could have success in this game. I really think so.
I hope so, man. Because like Christian says, it's a must win. I don't think it'll look good if you get 3 straight losses, especially 2 of those being at home. I think.
Do y'all think Herrera starts?
I hope not. I hope he doesn't. But I could see him.
This might be the wrong game to play him in.
Yeah, and I mean, and obviously you saw like they gave him 30 minutes against Austin. They only gave him about 25, so they actually decreased the minutes, which makes sense. You're playing down a man, so you're expecting him to do more, work. So maybe this game he'll get 45. Now, would you probably start him or you bring him in the second half? Personally, I'd probably bring him in the second half, but.
Yeah.
Just to see kind of what the first half provides, whether you're either winning or still holding on.
You're talking about
it's going to be a game you have to run for sure.
No, we're not talking about Messi. Not today.
No. Yeah, so you're talking about Latif Blessing?
No, Herrera.
Herrera. Yeah, well, it depends on how. Yeah, it depends where he's at. Probably the second half. If he's not
60 minutes.
No, I think 45. I think 45.
Yeah, 45 at halftime.
A good 30 to 45.
Talking about Blessing though, I hope Blessing does not start. I've been very unimpressed with him.
Well, I think they took him out because they needed to get a. Didn't they take him out for Steres?
They took him out for Steres, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I saw why he did that. He needed someone back there.
It definitely made sense that in-game substitution. But I don't know, the games he's played like more minutes. I don't know. I've just not seen it with him yet. It could be because he didn't really have much of a preseason with Toronto and he didn't play until he got traded. So it could be that too. But I'm not loving what I'm seeing from him so far.
Yeah,
it's a must win because when you look at the schedule going ahead, it's like hard game after hard game after hard game after hard game.
Yeah, 3 more rivalry
So,
games in a row again. Because after St. Louis,
I don't
Kansas City,
understand why
Austin, Dallas.
they repeat it so quickly. I think that also is a part of like you start losing some of that flavor for that rivalry. I mean, you're gonna play these guys within less than a month again.
Shout out MLS.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. I don't understand that one either. Because away to Kansas City, that's a bit of a rivalry game, which we've already played them as well too. So our next 3 games after St. Louis are teams we've already played.
Yep,
we've already played St. Louis this year too in the Champions Cup.
Yeah,
So
man, I'm gonna say it. This year's Dynamo calendar is kind of whack. Like the teams that the teams that are coming to Houston to play, they're not top notch. They're not it's a couple of them, but honestly, LA Galaxy game at the end of the season is probably one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm. In our next 8 games, the only teams we played that we haven't already played yet are Atlanta and LA. Every other team's a repeat.
Dang.
How wild is that
Wild.
this early in the season?
That is pretty crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. And like it's again, those derbies, man, you gotta separate some, and even having them back to back, it's weird. Between Austin Dallas, and you play Austin Dallas again.
It's like MLS just said, you know what? It's just the Texas teams, man. Just
let
them figure it out.
We got 3 games against Dallas this year, right? Or not Dallas, Austin.
Austin. They play in September, so they'll play a third match in September in Austin. So, hoping to make it to that game. All right. Well, I guess we're all hoping for a win, whether it happens or not this weekend. We'll find out. But just to finish off, obviously, we may not even record on Tuesday, next Tuesday, because the Dynamo will be playing a U.S. Open Cup match, trying to get that going. Sorry, I'm reading the question. Some guy just asked, when is the next podcast? I just said, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, is it me typing this? Because it's like, I feel like I just answered.
We could do Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Are these your cliff notes that you're answering yourself? Like,
no, right? It must be. It must be. I'm trying to over here add some comments so I can read them. But yeah, no. What are your thoughts on that U.S. Open Cup? And the last U.S. Open Cup game you went to, Cesar, was in Miami. And did you take a picture with Lionel Messi? I mean, maybe with the bodyguard? How close?
No, he was scared to come out to the pitch, so he pretended to be injured. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, I saw him from far away. No, it's funny. I think the U.S. Open Cup is one of those tournaments that it's only important if you win it or if you almost win it. I think everyone else is still going to take it just like they've been taking it for the past, years. It's like we'll start off with a B team, and if we happen to advance, cool. If not, who cares? Obviously, Houston, they don't want to lose to Detroit. They don't want to lose on the first round. Like so I think they're going to take it semi-serious. And if they're going to lose, let's hope they lose to a team that's at least an MLS level. Not to talk bad about the other teams, but at least someone similar to the level that Dynamo plays in. You don't want to be that got beat by the 4th division rookies.
But Detroit's supposed to be good, right, Joey?
Detroit is very, very good.
So there's that.
Yeah, Maxi Rodriguez might be one of the best players in USL right now. Killer midfielder.
Who you said?
Maxi Rodriguez.
Oh, man.
He's an 8.
That name brings back memories to a guy that scored against Mexico in 2006. I thought we were talking about.
I was like, what do you mean? I saw him working for Telemundo the other day. What do you mean?
Rishan said, did you at least get a picture with Tata Martino? But Tata Martino, Cesar, he was there, right? Yeah, clearly he was there.
Yeah, he was there. No, I didn't even know if I saw Tata Martino that day. I think I saw him briefly at the press conference, but no, I didn't get close. We don't really take pictures with the players, so that's the thing. We never take pictures with the players or with the coaches. We just don't. We can't. We're not supposed to. So most of them don't.
Not during work hours. You just hit them up after the hotel.
Now, I'm not. And I was having this conversation. I'm sure it happens to you guys. There are never enough pictures of you actually working. There are never enough pictures of you, interviewing. You probably have some interviews with, like some big stars, but you never actually have a picture of you interviewing those people because you're working and everybody else is too busy trying to get their own stuff that no one takes a picture of you. So
that is true.
That's true.
So I try to sometimes be courteous and be like, oh, you know what? Look at Rudy talking to Zlatan. Let me take a picture of Rudy and Zlatan.
Absolutely, man. But no, I'm hoping, like you guys mentioned, Detroit may be a good team. The only, I guess, funny or interesting part about this, and I saw some comments about whenever this teams and MLS get to play some USL championship teams, you would probably expect them to play over there. I mean, I know they do it out of a draw and all this, I guess, lottery type stuff, but I mean, it just benefits the rest of the U.S. soccer teams out there, and we know kind of MLS is already trying to get out of the U.S. Open Cup, so they have no problem with it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like it does help, right? I think that you would want that.
Well, yeah, that's the reason for the cup. It's supposed to help the lower divisions, make some money. Local teams make a little money. Give them a little bit of some sort of economic help by bringing teams to their stadium. Mm-hmm. I mean, how big would it be for Inter Miami to go to Detroit? That would be great for them. Because if that doesn't happen with the U.S. Open Cup, it's never going to happen. So no, of course it's good for them. That's why teams in like England, FA Cup, that's why they thrive on that, because that's when you see small teams suddenly beat bigger teams. Alcoyano and Real Madrid, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, Alcoyano eliminates Real Madrid. It's like, whoa, Alcoyano's a third division team, and they just beat Real Madrid in a 10,000 person stadium. Like, that's
Bayern lost a game like that this year.
Yeah.
They lost to like a third, fourth division team.
I think those, for me, for the longest time, whenever I got into MLS and I kind of found out about U.S. Open Cup and the way it was, I loved it. I loved the fact that how it was played, because Mexico at one point didn't really have a national cup. They brought it back and then they got rid of it again. But
yeah, that was a good Copa. Copa MX was good. That's when you'd see like lower division teams, and it makes it interesting. Mm-hmm. It shakes it up. So I guess you have to be a real MLS fan in order to enjoy the U.S. Open Cup. I think if you're a casual, you probably don't care either.
Yeah, I think if you're a casual, you probably don't care either, unless you like the MLS or you have a team, whether it be a USL championship team. Obviously, if you're in a smaller, well, I don't even want to call it a smaller city, but like if you're a San Antonio FC fan or a Phoenix Rising fan, or those are very important to you, because like you said, you're playing against what's supposed to be the top tier league in the US. So those are very valuable games. But guys, man, it's been great. It's thank you for joining us, Cesar. I know you probably want to did America lose?
I don't know. I hope so.
Probably.
They were losing. I think they were losing when I turned it off. So
okay.
Let's find.
Oh, they did. My God. I'm gonna have to listen to Encanchados tomorrow for sure.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun.
That's gonna be fun, man.
You gotta. I think when I listen, usually I told you when I listen, and for sure in the mornings to Aldo, he always calls out for the Chiva Hermanos to call in. So I think you have to do the opposite, man. You have to get all the Americanistas to call in and see exactly what they have to say.
What excuse
you know what?
They have?
No, the thing is, growing up, every Americanista, when they would lose, you ask them, hey, they lost. What happened? It's like, I didn't watch the game. It's always I didn't watch the game whenever they lost, man. It was,
we're trying to focus on La Liga. We're not worried about the Champions Cup.
Yeah, that's it's fun, man. It's good stuff. But yeah, man. So obviously, Encanchados, Cesar, where can they follow you, listen to you, man? And
honestly, just find us on TUDN Houston. Follow us on TUDN Houston with all the coverage for the local teams through that page, and then some. And that's our main platform, TUDN Houston, on all social media. And obviously, if you turn on the radio in the mornings, 93.3 FM.
Love it, man. So yeah, Encanchado is obviously a Spanish station, but man, you call in if even if you barely know Spanish, hit them up. Cesar will answer you in English, Spanglish.
Spanish is the tool, but soccer is a universal language. You can talk to me about. I mean, honestly, that's the thing. There are days when we didn't talk about soccer. Yeah. We don't even, we'll hit up a whole hour in just boxing or something else. It just kind of flows.
So. Yeah. So any sports goes. Talk about tennis or something like that. Maybe instead of her be the one that answers that.
I can't. I have my limits.
Man. But yeah, no, man. Thanks again for joining us, and I guess so short notice. Hopefully, you can keep joining us throughout the season, and maybe we'll see you at the stadium.
I'll do it if the Astros won.
Okay.
Because if they lost, I'm gonna blame you for it because I was watching the game.
Ooh, it's still going.
No
still going. Oh, we can still catch the end of it.
You can still. They're top of the 8. Wait, top of the 8, 8-8. That's pretty good, man.
All right,
that's pretty good. So we're still okay. So
we're still good. Hit me up.
You can still finish it. But Christian, you can tell the people how they can connect with us, man, and we can get out of here.
Yeah, just go check out Bayou City Soccer at BayouCitySoccer.net. At Bayou City Soccer, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check out the YouTube channel and everything in between. Website BayouCitySoccer.net, guys. Check it out.
Sweet. So we'll see you. I guess, to answer the guy's question, we'll record next week. The game is at 7. I'll probably make it to the stadium, but we'll probably still record at 9 o'clock. So, man, we'll see you on the next stream. Peace.